Welcome back, everybody. This is Mr. Flutter, and today I'm going to talk to you about phase change graphs. Before we get started, we need to identify which of these graphs, we'll call this graph 1, we'll call this graph 2. Which of these graphs is an endothermic phase change, and which graph is an exothermic? So, just to remember, endothermic means heat is entering, enter. So that means that the temperature is increasing over time. So if we compare that, or we look at the x-axis and the y-axis, we'll notice that as time goes by in this graph, the temperature is going up. So if the temperature is going up, that means that heat is entering whatever substance this is a phase change graph for. So I'm going to just label this endothermic. Heat is entering. And if that's endothermic, exothermic means heat is exiting. So if heat is exiting, that means the temperature is going down over time. So this would be exothermic. Okay, let's start with our endothermic. If this is heat is entering this substance, that means that as we start, we should identify what phase is this substance when it starts this phase change graph. And if we think about that, when the temperature is the lowest, that would mean that it has the least amount of energy. And the phase with the least amount of energy is a solid. So we would just simply label all along that incline, it is a solid, and that solid is heating up at that point. As soon as it heats up enough to where the molecules inside the substance start to move more quickly and have more energy, it'll begin to melt. So on that plateau, remember during a phase change, we've talked about this before, the temperature stays the same. So this is the melting point, the moment that it starts to melt, and all along the plateau it is melting. Once it's finished melting, which is at that point, it's done melting, it is now all a liquid, and that liquid is heating up. As you can see, the temperature is going up. Once it's heated up enough, we know, sorry, I labeled that solid. That should be a liquid. My fault. Once that liquid is heated up, we know that if you heat a liquid high enough, it will start to evaporate, and right at that point is the evaporation point. Evaporation point. And all along here it is evaporating. Evaporate. Once it has completely evaporated at that point, it is now a gas, and the gas is heating up. Okay? Let's go down to exothermic. If we're starting this exothermic phase change, we are starting with the temperature being the highest, or the most energy. So this substance starts out as a gas. And the gas is cooling down. Once the gas has cooled down enough, this is called, right when it starts to condense, is the condensation point. And all along this plateau, the temperature remains the same, condensation. At this point, it is done condensing and is turned completely into a liquid, and the liquid is cooling down. Molecules are moving slower, cooling down, cooling down. Once it's cooled down enough, we know that if you cool a liquid down enough, it will begin to freeze. So that is the freezing point. And all along this plateau, not freezing. Ooh, I'm having a hard time today. It's freezing all along that plateau. The temperature's not changing. Once it's done freezing, it has become completely solid, and all along this decline, the temperature is going down. It is a solid cooling off. Hopefully this is helpful, and this is what your quiz will be on. This will also be on your test. So look it over, quiz yourself, see if you can figure out the different points on the phase change graph. Hopefully this was helpful, and make sure you ask questions if you don't know. Have a great day.